Well, good morning and welcome to Voice of the People Television. This is VOP This Morning. I am Moses Humphrey.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu.
And I am Chukwuma Okoro. Good morning.
All right, so let's let you into our conversation for today. On the show today, we'll be looking at the president set to submit a revised whistleblowing policy to the National Assembly for legislative review. Meanwhile, Peter Obi has warned against turning Nigeria into a banana republic. Plus, Chief Bode George has advised Atiku Abubakar to wait until 2031 if he wishes to still contest for the presidency. Oh well, these are the topics we'll be dealing with today on the program. But of course, we'll always check out what stories made it to the cover pages of the dailies. But before we go into the papers, Fina.
All right, other trending issues that we have to look at this morning. In Bauchi State, the member representing Ningi Waji Federal Constituency, Adamu Hashima, faced an attack from angry youth who accused him of inadequate representation. The incident occurred as Ranga was leaving the burial ceremony of the late Emir of Ningi, Muhammadu Yunusa Dan Yaya, and the youths expressed their dissatisfaction. They threw sand and stones at the lawmakers' convoy. Despite effort to calm the situation, the attack escalated, causing significant damage to Ranga's vehicle security operatives, though eventually setting to intervene to make sure that they were able to quell the issue before it escalated beyond that. And, this got me thinking. It really got me thinking. Is it that Nigerian youths or Nigerians now in general are beginning to know the power that they have to demand a proper representation from the lawmakers that they send, especially those who are representing the interests of Nigerians in the National Assembly?
But it's not about demanding proper representation or knowing the powers they have. I think Nigerians, especially the youthful population, which makes up a larger percentage of Nigerians, they are dissatisfied with the leaders. They are dissatisfied with lawmakers. They are dissatisfied with politicians. And there's now a pent-up anger that they wish to take out anytime they see a public office holder. Now, this is going to escalate if care is not taken, if government doesn't start rejigging its policies and try to make them more people-friendly. If that is not done, I see a situation whereby this will escalate, and then the revolt that we've shied away from talking about might just happen.
Do you also share that opinion, Chukuma?
Yes, but I think I also need to amplify it to the extent that, look, it expresses a growing level of awareness and political sophistication among Nigerians. I also don't approve of this method. But you will also understand that this particular representative, that his constituents had tried to recall him.
Get access to him.
To recall him, but they failed. Why did they fail? Because the process of recall is very cumbersome, very complex. The complexities are so many that you can't even do it in a tenure. By the time you start and you want to finish, the tenure is almost gone.
Yeah.
And beyond that, the thing is gradually expanding. A similar thing happened somewhere in Ondo State, Ogun State or Ondo State, where a particular rep went to, I think it was in a ceremony, and he went to give palliatives or something, things like that. And the people rejected it and revolted and chased him out of that environment. So it's a growing level of awareness for Nigerians, like Moses said, the youthful demographic, trying to rise and say, look, we have to hold our leaders to account. But I think I have issues with the method, like having to stone. Somebody could get injured in the process, and somebody could even get in the crossfires, innocent people, could get caught in that process. So it's a growing awareness, and it is good. It's good that our people are now reacting. So the best thing to do is to also look for proper means of venting, of expressing this anger.
So you think Nigerians are no longer docile? They no longer relax and, Like the city president said, power doesn't come to someone, you have to go grab it and all that. You think Nigerians now are having that mindset of, no, these are not going the way it should be. I think it's high time for us to set in and do the right thing.
The sitting president doesn't need to say it. I also told you about a certain English philosopher who said, look, the people cannot decide until someone decides who the people are. You know? So it's all about, how can I put it now? It's an expression. Nigerians have not been docile anyway. But the leadership had some kind of stranglehold on the people. But the people are now beginning to realize. Like in the north, you see the people are beginning to contest, you know, the orthodoxy of the oligarchy in the north. The things that happen in the north now, you couldn't have thought about them in the past 30 years.
Of course.
Like the convoy of Muhammad Buhari stoned, you know, during the election. And his banners torn by people. In the last 30 years, you dare not. Like people are marching to the palace of the Sultan of Sokoto. These things were unheard of in the past, in the recent past, like 10, 15, 20 years ago. But now, you know, that's why I always say there's this growing level of political sophistication and awareness, and it is global, if you ask me.
So that shows this our quest of getting it right someday in Nigeria will be visible.
We can't lose hope. We can't
All right.
Most definitely.
All right. On social media yesterday, we have a particular video making its way where Abike Dabiri-Erewa, the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCAM, released a photo of a Nigerian woman who threatened to harm her fellow Nigerians in Canada. And the woman, identified as Amaka Patience Sonberger, made the threat in a viral audio clip, sparking outrage and calls for her deportation. And this one made some Nigerians to say, why would this happen? The woman was of the opinion that if she has her way, she's going to poison a particular tribe of people until, you know, no one again will, you know, exist and all that. And she said she's going to take her time to do it publicly. And that made some people to, you know, to wonder, why would she make such statement? And if you check the social media yesterday, a lot of people were against her claim. And then some other people were of the opinion, no, why would you not go ahead? Because this woman said this. Is it because she belongs to a particular tribe? Could that be the reason?
I think it was a reckless statement. It was, we're speaking against, I mean, we are beginning to express unnecessary tribal hate.
Okay.
We are still Nigerians regardless. And Nigerians, I totally understand the division our political class have, harped on in the past to keep us apart, so they get, their desires. But then I think it's beginning to affect us. It's we're having those from the southwest saying, "Look, Igbos will go." Now we're having those from the southeast saying, "We have to, Yorubas have to be killed." It's very unnecessary. We are a divided house as it is. And if something isn't done, if people are not properly addressed, and I think the use of social media at this point, I would call for some sort of regulation as to what is put out there.
Why call for?
This is a statement that could actually, trigger some other people that cannot keep their emotions in check to do something nasty. And then, it will come down on all of us. It's a reckless statement that she will poison everyone.
Gradually, make sure
in Canada, in her office, and then she called for fellow Igbos to do the same. The same way we condemned those that said Igbo must go on social media is the same way I will condemn this statement. It's a reckless statement, and I think now that she has been identified, something should be done.
Now, Mr. Chukwuma, I'll ask you this. What I would come to you on this one is some quarters with the opinion that she should not be deported, given the fact that she learned her outcry or her outburst from some people, elders, who are not even supposed to toe the line they did. For example, have a sitting Oba in Lagos who said something about throwing a particular sect of people to the lagoon. And not just that, also, we have the First Lady of Nigeria, when she was a senator. She made a statement about how they've been tolerating the Igbos in Lagos State, and if they did not do the bidding of a particular political party, it is not going to be easy or sweet. And then just this month, August, someone came up on the social media again to brand a hashtag from 20th of August to 30th, hashtag Igbo must go. Do you also think that her own outcry or outburst now, it's like, did she go too far with that, given the fact that some people have been calling for a particular people to be dealt with, and the only thing we have actually is more like the government is treating them with kid gloves?
Fina, if you ask me, I think we always hear that two wrongs do not make a right.
Yeah.
You know, it's what Amaka did. It's clearly obnoxious. It's insightful. It is hate speech. You know, and she even went to the extent of saying, "I will poison. I will kill." It's one thing to say, "Moses, get out of my house." It's another to say, "Fina, I'm going to kill you." You know, these are two different things.
People that they throw into the lagoon, will they survive?
I'm coming to that.
Right,
I'm coming to that. But it also speaks about the climate of hate that has enveloped the country. Yeah. And like Moses did point out, some of these things, you know, don't even remain at the, you don't find them at the pedestrian or middle, you don't see them coming up from the pedestrian or middle class level. It is from the top, you know, most especially from our political leaders. You see an Oba, you know, a revered Oba for that matter, saying that he will throw a certain group of people into the lagoon. It is highly condemnable. I'm also happy that some people, including his own people, have condemned that statement and condemned also the statements attributed to the current First Lady when she made that statement. As a senator, you know, the people have come out to condemn the Igbo must go hashtag. You know, nobody is going nowhere. We are all Nigerians.
Exactly.
We are all Nigerians. But I'd like to point to one thing. You know, the actions of our leaders sometimes predispose people to acting in the manners they act. I'm saying that in reference to the fact that the NICOM chairman, Abike Dabiri, you know, is always, in all honesty, is always quick to profile a particular ethnic group. This is not the first time she's doing it. I don't know if it is because it's under her purview as NICOM chairman, because this thing is coming from abroad. But we also had Adeyinka Jr., and we didn't hear anything from Abike Dabiri. You know, and when a certain group of people were caught in Italy as prostitutes or what, she was silent on that. But when some group of people went to collect phones and money from people in Dubai, she was quick to jump out and say, "Oh, you know, profile the people." It is wrong. The actions of our leaders should inspire patriotism. You know, so these divisions, like I said, the climate of hate is too much and is unacceptable. I mean, for crying out loud, we are one people. Humanity is one. And we should take advantage of our diversity to make a forward step, forward step to progress and development and all of that. We can't continue like this.
Can't continue like this. And that brings me to what Moses loves saying every time. Say, though tribe and tongue may differ, but in brotherhood we stand as Nigerians.
Yeah, well, it's not Moses saying it. It's in the anthem.
But he loves saying it. You love saying
No,
that.
it's a reminder.
We have so many other
always try
stanzas
to
of that.
No, I always try to remind myself and remind you that though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And actually, in brotherhood we should stand.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much a few things trending that we had to hop on this morning. Well, let's let you know that you can be part of the conversation here. Both trends at the beginning, major conversation, trends at the end, and everything we do right here on VOP this morning and on VOP television. On the show, you can let us know what you think, let your friends know as well, that we've come to stay. The Voice of the People TV on YouTube. Do well to subscribe. Do well to click on the notification button and be part of the family. And on all the social media platforms, Twitter, I keep saying Twitter, I'm stuck on it. X.com, Instagram, and Threads as well. We are at VOP TV Live. Now, before we get into the major conversation for today, let's take a look at the papers.
All right, welcome back. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People TV. The front pages of the National Daily is what we have to look at this morning. And before us, we have the Guardian newspaper, the Daily Independent, the Punch, the Nigerian News Direct, and a whole lot more on our table this morning. I will start off with the Guardian newspaper. And the banner headline on the front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning reads, NIN, SIM linkage, and national security. Fresh anxiety as FG disconnects 50 million unlinked SIMs, September 14. Fresh anxiety as FG disconnects 50 million unlinked SIMs, September 14. And just beneath that, we have a pictorial. We have the president himself, and we have also the IGP of the police. And we have another headline there that says, concerns as Abuja photographer spent 10 months in detention over intentional insult. Reps member warns Lagos LP against illegal Congress orders. Beyond the facade, unveiling violence in Nigerians' peaceful presidential election. PDP crisis. Bode George advises Atiku to contest presidency in 2031 at 85 years. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Criminal Justice Act, ineffective 7 years after NBA laments. Criminal Justice Act ineffective 7 years after NBA laments. Afenifere 6 Regional NYSC, Enforcement of Terrorism Prohibition Act. That story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Currency in circulation hits 4 trillion naira, defies CBN's monetary tightening measures. NLC threatens indefinite strike as Ajero honors police invitation. That story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper, and those are the headlines that made it to the cover page of the Guardian newspaper this morning.
And from the Guardian, we go to the Daily Trust. And the banner headline reads, flooding kills over 170 in 15 states. 107,652 hectares of farmlands, 80,049 houses destroyed. Number warns of severe incidents in September and October. Tinubu urges speedy action on environmental concerns. And that's on page 4 of the Daily Trust. And the window headlines read, kidney harvest, federal government suspends doctor accused in Daily Trust report. NCC sets September 14 as final deadline for SIM-NIN linkage. I'll check that again. NCC sets September 14 as final deadline for SIM-NIN linkage. If you have not done that, you have a deadline, September 14, to go and do that. Fresh diphtheria outbreak claims 40 lives in Kano. Fresh diphtheria outbreak claims 40 lives in Kano, and that's on page 6 of the Daily Trust. There's a pictorial there, is about the police parading members of the Shiite movement, who were arrested recently in Abuja. And beside that pictorial, you have contract scams. Kano government orders closure of MDA's accounts. Contract scams. Kano government orders closure of MDA's accounts. Abuja, how 7 naval officer killed man, stole his jeep. That's on page 19 of the Daily Trust. Strike. Federal government asked you to reconvene September 6th. I'll check that again. Strike. Federal government asked you to reconvene September 6th. And the bottom headline reads, NACO needs systemic reforms. That's according to the presidency. And that's all from the Daily Trust.
All right, so from the Daily Trust to the Vanguard we go. Banner headline on the Vanguard newspaper. West African Senior School Certificate Examination. NAS wades into age controversy. It's archaic. Atiku says FG acting like military regime. FG's declaration, unacceptable, draconian. CSOs. It will lead to capital flight. Dawn will subject it to public hearing. Senate. We haven't been briefed on the matter. Reps. Interesting times indeed. Oh well, on top of the nameplate, another headline there. Energy crisis. Marketers seek diesel price reduction to 700 naira a litre. NCC gives September 14 final deadline for NIN-SIM linkage compliance. Insecurity, bandits, kidnappers, others should be exterminated. Tinubu. Alleged terrorism financing. NLC president honors police invitation today. It's we wait to see what happens at that one. Oh well. Nigeria, Interpol arrests over 300 members of Black Axe criminal group. South African billionaire Johan Rupert overtakes Dangote as Africa's richest man. And, well, the next one there is an editorial there that speaks to the futility of Tinubu's statistics and, or statist and corporatist economic council. All right? Well, these are the headlines on the Vanguard newspaper. I think we have time to take to go another round.
Yeah, the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Presidency, if you must contest, wait till 2031. But a judge tells Atiku, says a Southerner must occupy the position till 2031. You can't talk of 2027. 2023 has no benefit yet. Atiku's aid. And we have the window headline just above the nameplate. NCC announces final deadline for NIN SIM linkage compliance. Plateau Assembly reduces elected LG officials' tenure to 2 years. We have a major pictorial, and that happens to be from the Hair Holdings Convention. Right beneath that, Kano implements single central revenue accounts for MDAs. That story is on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. NACON presidency decries financial impropriety of religious institution. Governor Oti convenes Labour Party stakeholders meeting September 4th. That story is on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Nogasa tax presidency on level playing field on crude oil sales. 16 burned in road crash in Ondo. That is on page 6 of the Daily Independent. LG fiscal autonomy. Izion legal luminary flays NAS over Supreme Court judgment. Fitch ratings sounds alarm on MPOX. Physical threat to Nigeria, others. That story is on page 29 of the Daily Independent. I'll have another bold headline on the cover page of the Daily Independent newspaper. It reads, to avert ASU strike, FG raises committee to review union's demands. Meets union September 6th after deadlock meeting. And the last but not the least of the headlines that made it to the cover page of the Daily Independent this morning, Tinubu appoints Akinde Uzo Mala to board of BOI. That story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper this morning.
All right, then let's touch on another daily now, away from the Daily Independent.
Yeah.
All right, so this day newspaper has its headlines. Right underneath the nameplate, Nigeria's defense chief visits Niger Republic to discuss security collaboration. Duke is wrong. We can't screen. Confirm acting CJN after swearing in, says Senate. NEPC, non-oil experts yielded $2.7 billion at half year. CBN survey reveals businesses anticipate lower inflation compared to households. Says rising costs push Nigerians into debt amid optimism. All right. And then on top of the nameplate, yes, we have the whistleblowing policy. FD recovers over 83 billion naira, $609 million, 5.4 million euros in 6 years. Tinubu to represent bill to National Assembly. All right. And yes, a little tiny strip there. Bankers Committee completes restoration of National Theatre. Well, these are the headlines on this day newspaper for today, the 29th day of August 2024. All right, there you have it.
And from the DDay newspaper, we'll move over to the Punch newspaper. And the banner headline reads, Government plans evacuation. Camps as flood hits 28 states. Flooding affects 133 local governments, 526,703 persons, even as Tinubu promises aid. And then there's a pictorial there about Bankers Committee completes restoration of National Theatre. I think it's a good thing that the Bankers Committee renovated this National Theatre. I recall that at a point, a certain federal government wanted to sell the National Theatre, and Nigerians keep. So I think it's a good thing that we didn't sell it. Look at what the Bankers Committee has
it's been renamed.
Yes, Wole Soyinka,
yes,
Wole Soyinka,
yes.
Whatever. But it still belongs to the federal government.
It does.
It's still our national asset. Nobody can seize that because it's in our homeland. You know. And so beside the nameplate, you have NLC plans mass protection as Ajero honors police invitation today. That's on page 12 of the Punch newspaper. Article, Bode George disagree over 2027 presidential ambition. I'll take that again. Article, Bode George disagree over 2027 presidential ambition. That story is on page 29 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all from the Punch newspaper.
All right, that be all that we'll take from the papers at this time. If you want us to go a little deeper into the analysis of these stories, giving you our own view, then stay with us till 9 o'clock and beyond, as we'll be touching on some of these headlines on Newspaper Review. We'll take a break now. When we come back, President Bola Tinubu will let you into this conversation of the president presenting a revised whistleblowing policy to the National Assembly. Let's have that conversation in a short while.